from an earthquake in Taiwan that triggered this massive landslide, and these rescue workers in the French Alps who ran from a freak avalanche, to a tornado in Indiana that threatened this car dealership, and a store full of customers who narrowly escaped a devastating earthquake. Here are 10 natural disasters you wouldn't believe if not filmed. Myanmar is among the most geologically active places in the world. It sits atop 4 tectonic plates: the Eurasian Plate, the Indian Plate, the Sunda Plate, and the Burma Microplate. When these plates collide, they tend to trigger some of the world's most powerful earthquakes. On March 28th of 2025, one of those tremors struck beneath Mandalay, Myanmar's second largest city. About 170 miles south of the epicenter, shoppers in a tiny jewelry store were forced to flee when the ground started shaking. The 7.7 magnitude earthquake resulted from a strike slip, where 2 plates move horizontally along each other. Sometimes the plates get stuck as they move, causing unimaginable amounts of friction and potential energy to build. The tension grows and grows until it finally releases. The planet shifts into place, thus triggering earthquakes on the surface. At just over 6 miles below the surface, the Myanmar earthquake was considered very shallow compared to other events. It was so shallow and so powerful that a skyscraper in Bangkok over 620 miles away collapsed due to the shaking. That would be like an earthquake in Southern Virginia toppling a skyscraper in Boston. Tignes, France is famous for hosting the longest ski season in Europe. It's where the world's best skiers and snowboarders train every year. Don't be surprised if you're sharing a lift with a former or future Olympian. Avalanches are top of mind for Tignes safety workers. On April 10th of 2018, a crew arrived at the scene of an early morning avalanche that had blocked a tunnel entrance. As they worked to clear it, another avalanche struck on the mountain, forcing them to abandon their equipment and run for their lives.
Oh, comme elle descend!
Regarde, c'est pas par-dessus. Quelqu'un a mis sa douche.
Ça arrive, ça arrive, ça arrive. Oh, les arbres!
Ouais, il va être bien pour ça. Non, non, il s'attend. Attends, je passe pas ça, mais je vais le casser les... Je vais me faire une bouteille, là.
Oh, ça redescend. Oh, les voitures! Oh, les voitures et tout! Oh, j'ai tout filmé! Oh, putain!
This clip is all the proof you need that avalanches are no joke. They can strike without warning and claim roughly 150 lives each year. A devastating avalanche in Tignes claimed the lives of 4 snowboarders a year before this incident. The season before that, 45 separate avalanches took the lives of 21 people. Most avalanches are believed to be caused by the victims or someone in their party. That's why places like Tingye will trigger them on purpose when they see too much snow accumulating. Reports seem conflicted about whether this was a freak occurrence or a planned avalanche. If it was planned, then someone clearly missed an important memo. Just under 8 million people live in the prefecture-level city of Nantong, China. On April 30th of 2021, most of them lived through one of the worst thunderstorms in the city's history. Wind speeds topped over 100 miles per hour as they flipped over fishing boats and uprooted trees. While many ran for cover, others stood their ground and filmed the hurricane-like storm. In this first clip, watch as the wind tries to move these cars and flying debris nearly hits a man trapped on his motorcycle. The wind grabbed anything that wasn't nailed to the ground and threw it across the city. Watch as loose objects fly by like birds, and this one neighborhood loses all its trash cans. Elsewhere in Nantong, several people caught outside tried covering themselves with whatever they could find. Those yellow stools may have worked if it weren't raining sideways. Aftermath footage from around Nantong shows how much damage the storm caused. Look at what happened to all these cars parked along a cinder block wall. Sadly, the storm claimed 11 lives across eastern China and left 102 people injured. An overturned fishing boat sent 11 men plummeting into the water. 2 were rescued, but the other 9 were still missing in the days following the storm. Unfortunately, their fate remains unclear. In late March of 2019, a powerful rainstorm on the west coast of New Zealand's South Island dropped nearly 40 inches of rain over 2 days. It was the highest total rainfall over 48 hours in New Zealand's history, and extreme flooding forced the closures of several major roads and bridges. One of those bridges was the Waiho River Bridge near the town of Franz Josef. Relentless floodwaters battered the structure until it was on its last leg. These locals could only watch in horror as the surge carried the bridge away, leaving them stranded on the other side.
Oh, the whole bridge is going. Holy shit. It's taking it stand by stand. There we have it, folks.
A few locals had noticed several issues with the bridge days before the collapse. One of them even emailed the New Zealand Transport Agency regarding some rocks that had gone missing. It was not critical now, but it may be an issue if we get good rain, they said. The response from the NZTA was, everything should be fine. Well, everything was clearly not fine. The bridge collapse allegedly cost Franz Josef millions of dollars in economic losses, as the small river town relies on tourism to sustain its hotels and restaurants. While a new bridge was up and running within 10 days, the damage was already done. Dalhousie, India is a mountain town in the Chamba district of Himachal Pradesh. It sits about 6,400 feet above sea level and is no stranger to torrential summer rainfall. All that extra water saturates the land, meaning landslides can happen at any given moment. On July 11th of 2011, locals gathered along a ridge near Dalhousie to watch one of those landslides unfold. Watch as a few falling rocks trigger something catastrophic. Now let's see that one more time from a different vantage point. This time, look at how close the cars on the right side of your screen come to getting caught in the landslide.
मोटरसाइकिल से मार रहा है देखो क्या हुआ रोड बन गई अब जल्दी निकल जाओगे वो मोटरसाइकिल लेने जा रहा है पागलो मंदिर में घुस रहे हैं बेवकूफ.
Based on the debris that's already there, we're guessing an earlier landslide had occurred before the cameras started rolling. It looks like they closed the road moments before the second landslide struck. Unfortunately, we couldn't find much more about this particular event. Based on the footage, it doesn't look like anyone got hurt, though we imagine all those drivers had to turn around and go back the way they came. Mount Vernon is a small city in Posey County, Indiana. It's home to about 6,600 people who didn't think they'd have to worry about Hurricane Beryl in 2024. The first Category 5 hurricane of the season had weakened to a Category 1 when it made landfall in southern Texas. But that's not where the storm ended. On July 9th of 2024, Beryl's remnants moved through the lower Ohio Valley, drawing warm and moist air into the region. It spawned 7 tornadoes that afternoon, the strongest being this EF3 twister that touched down near a Ford dealership in Mount Vernon, Indiana.
Oh my God. It's gonna hit Ford right on.
Yeah, there goes competition.
Shut up. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm annoying. Holy shit.
It just formed in front of us. We were sitting here videoing it as it was forming.
Oh yeah, well it was on the ground, it crossed the highway.
We watched it. We watched it come from the.
Yeah.
You see all the debris. We watched
Yeah,
it
I'm watching
cross.
like, damn. Shit's still went on the highway.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
According to the National Weather Service, a long-track cell moving northwest from Kentucky produced this EF3 around 4:18 that afternoon. Wind speeds peaked at 140 miles per hour, and the storm itself grew to be roughly 300 yards wide. It carved a 5.8-mile path of destruction as it tore down trees and damaged several homes. Then, it flipped over semi-trailers and train cars before lifting north of Johnson Road. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, and the competition across the street didn't sustain any damage. The people of Catalonia must have thought the sky was falling. On August 30th of 2022, baseball-sized hailstones pelted the Spanish territory. They originated from a convection storm that developed in the eastern part of the French Pyrenees. The storm intensified rapidly as it moved south into Spain. Based on this footage, the locals had no idea it was coming. If they did, well, they wouldn't be out walking their dogs, would they?
Y arriba está atrás.
Amb l'estona que ha passat i aquestes pedres encara es conserven així. Mare de Déu.
The Catalonia region is no stranger to hail. However, these stones, measuring between 10 and 12 centimeters in diameter, were the largest ever produced in a single storm over the region. Locals described them as tennis ball-sized, while others were as big as frozen softballs. They injured 70 people and, sadly, claimed the life of a 1-year-old girl. Think of hail like jawbreaker candies in reverse. Instead of melting in your mouth, they hang out in the clouds as updraft winds keep them afloat. They build layers of frozen moisture until they're simply too heavy to hold. Then they plummet to Earth fast enough to cause some severe damage. On April 3rd of 2024, 2 powerful earthquakes struck near Hualien City on the east coast of Taiwan. The first was a 7.4 magnitude tremor that struck 11 miles outside the city around 8 a.m. Several strong aftershocks followed, including another 6.4 magnitude earthquake roughly 13 minutes after the main shock. The main shock was the strongest quake to strike Hualien County in 25 years. It triggered over 1,200 landslides, which combined to move roughly 13.3 square miles of dirt and rock. One of those landslides occurred in the mountains near the epicenter. These workers were lucky enough to record the whole thing from a safe distance.
了完蛋了，是不是要人被买了？
Sights like this were hard to miss in Taiwan after the earthquake. The main quake triggered 700 aftershocks within the first 24 hours and 1,300 aftershocks by mid-May. At least 18 people perished, 1,100 were injured, and 2 were missing a month after the event. While those figures are saddening, they could have been much worse. Taiwan has pumped billions of dollars into earthquake preparedness in recent years. Despite registering as a 7.4 on the Richter scale, the main quake had little impact on the island's 23 million people. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more just like it, be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.